Hi, my name is Ashley Carter. I am the Instructional Design Specialist at Jackson and Adams Elementary Schools. I have previously taught 2nd, 3rd, and 4th grades and also served as a math teacher leader within our district for several years. Today, I want to talk to you about some math strategies as well as some resources that you can use with your child when working on math at home. Do you ever feel like this when your child brings home math homework and asks for help? If so, you are not alone. As a math teacher, parents used to always ask me two key questions. First, why is math so different than when I was in school? And second, how can I help my child if I don't understand the way that math is being taught? Well, there is good news. Math hasn't changed, but our instruction, the way that we teach math, has evolved. The focus of math instruction used to rely on memorizing facts and procedures. While these facts and procedures are still an important part of being a successful math student, math instruction has shifted to focusing more on learning strategies and developing a number sense instead of just memorizing. This is important for two reasons. Students that have trouble memorizing things have hope. They can learn different strategies in order to be successful. Secondly, students are developing a deeper understanding about math concepts when they're learning and applying and discussing these different strategies, which will essentially support their learning year after year. So if you don't know the different strategies that your child is learning, how can you help? The number one way you can help your child become a successful math student is to help them develop what we call a growth mindset. Oftentimes, I might hear a student or even a parent say, "I'm not good at math. I've never been good at math." With this thinking, students believe there isn't anything they can do to become good at math. You're born good at it or you're born not good at it. With a growth mindset, students might say something like, "I'm not good at math right now, but if I learn strategies, I can become a successful math student." Another way that you can help your child is to talk to your child's teacher. Teachers are trained on teaching all of the different strategies that your child will learn. So we don't expect you to be the expert. Your child's teacher will have ideas on how to best support your child with extra practice. Finally, there are some resources that we can provide to you in order for you to help your child at home. Two of the resources I will share with you today are some strategy brochures and the RealLife student portal. There are 7 math strategy brochures that are available to parents. 2 of the brochures that are especially for children in grades kindergarten, 1st grade, and 2nd grade are called the Early Elementary Addition Fact Strategies brochure and the Early Elementary Subtraction Fact Strategy brochures. In addition, once students move into 2nd grade, parents can begin looking at the Elementary Addition Strategies brochure and Subtraction Strategies brochure. As students move into 3rd grade and beyond, the remaining brochures are going to be helpful for not only your child, but for you in looking at all the different ways that your child is learning. Each brochure is going to give you a description of the strategy that's being taught, as long as examples. So if your child is struggling with homework, you could pull out a brochure, look over it with your child as an example, and have them talk to you about the strategy and how they're even using it in class. On each brochure, you will see this chart that says K-5 Mathematics Fluency Expectations. These are the standards that the state of Tennessee have set for students to learn and be fluent with their math facts from kindergarten through 5th grade. Now, there's a couple of things I want to point out to you. Beginning in kindergarten, students will add and subtract within 10. You'll notice in 1st grade, they're going to add and subtract within 20, but it says no from memory, all sums up to 10. So in kindergarten, we don't expect students to leave memorizing all of their addition subtraction facts within 10. But we do want them to have a strategy. And don't worry, those strategies are going to be introduced at school. By the end of 1st grade, we do hope they've had enough practice with discussing and practicing those strategies that they will know from memory all the sums up to 10. In second grade, you can see they move to adding and subtracting within 30. They need to know from memory all of the sums, that's the addition piece of two-digit numbers, and also related subtraction facts. And then they're going to be developing strategies for adding and subtracting within 100. This is where that addition strategies brochure will come in handy because you can see the different strategies that your child's learning. In third grade, you will notice that their first fluency standard starts with multiplying and dividing within 100. Know from memory all products of two one-digit numbers and related division facts. I want to point out this is an end-of-the-year expectation. But there's a brochure that's going to help support you that I'll show you in just a moment. First, I want to take a close look at the Elementary Addition Strategies brochure. Remember, this is for grades 2nd through 5th grade. Here, you're going to see a list of the different strategies that students will be learning. I often get a question about, what about borrowing and carrying and regrouping like we did when I was in school? Is that a bad strategy? The answer is no, it's not a bad strategy. That strategy is called the U.S. Traditional Algorithm. You'll notice on the brochure that we begin teaching that strategy in 4th grade. So why wait so late? We want students to really develop a good sense of the numbers so that they don't get confused when applying this strategy. For example, how many times were you in school and you heard your teacher say, carry the 1? Well, to some students, they didn't understand that that was really a 10 or maybe even a 100 that they were carrying. So when the teacher called it a 1, it could cause a lot of confusion. We want students to really have a good understanding about place value and the numbers they're working with before we ever start using some language like that with them. So we do ask that parents wait until 4th grade to introduce this strategy to their child. If you've already introduced it or it's something that you really do want your child to understand, I would like to propose also trying an additional strategy along with that strategy. Maybe compare solutions and see if you get the same answer. Another brochure that I wanted to point out today is the Elementary Multiplication Facts Strategy brochure. When we were in school, many of us had to memorize our multiplication facts in 3rd grade, all the way up to 12 times 12. I don't know about you, but when I was in 3rd grade, we started at learning our 1s, then our 2s, then our 3s, and if you were good at memorizing, you were able to get them by the end of 3rd grade. If you weren't good at memorizing, it was very frustrating and defeating. So we take a different approach in teaching children their different multiplication facts now so that we don't just rely on memorization. We really want to have a conversation about the strategy so that if you can't just remember what it is, you have a strategy to fall back on. A great example I can give you is 6 times 7. That one was always really hard for me. But I could remember 6 times 6 was 36. Without a strategy, that wouldn't help me at all in trying to solve what 6 times 7 is. But knowing a strategy of, oh, I just have to add one more group of 6, and that will give me 6 times 7, that is something we want our students to be able to articulate and fall back on. You'll also see a progression on this brochure that shows you a way to work on the different facts in a way that will make sense to your child. Learning the 1s are usually a great place to start. The 2s are the next best place to go because students are really good at doubling, for example, adding 8 plus 8. So seeing that connection between 2 times 8 is the same thing as doubling usually really makes a lot of sense to students, and it's a good, easy place to start. Next, we move into the 5s because there's a great pattern when multiplying by 5s or skip counting by 5s, and 10s as well. You can see different strategies for 4s, 3s, 0s, 9s, and so on. Finally, I want to share the RealLife student portal with you. On the parent brochures, you'll see these notes. Playing math games where students discuss their strategies can support their development. Students will play a variety of games in class. Ask your child's teacher about some of the games you could play at home. Using the handout that you'll be receiving today about accessing RealLife online at home will help you be able to play some of these games. So I'm going to pull up the RealLife platform just so you can see what it looks like. I'm logging into the Game Center. Now you'll see over to the left-hand side that you actually have access to all of the different grade levels. So maybe you have a first grader, and you also have a fourth grader. You'll be able to log in and access the different games. When you pull the games up, you'll see just what your child sees when they're at school playing. There's even a place for directions. You can also have your child show you how to play the game because they will have played it at school. A couple of other things I want to point out on the RealLife portal that will be helpful for families working with their children at home are these math words and ideas section. If you're having a hard time explaining how a different operation works, or maybe even a vocabulary word in math, I definitely suggest checking this out. You have different strategies that you may see. There may be videos that you can watch that show a different strategy to your child. Sometimes it's just a definition, or there might be examples. Additionally, another tool included on the RealLife portal are the math tools. So if you're working on time, or your child is doing geometry and you want to look at different shapes, fractions, there's lots of different resources on this site that you can use and your child will be very familiar with using from the classroom. I hope these different strategies and the resources that we've provided you with today will help you in working with your child at home. But as always, please remember that we are here for you. So let us know how we can further help.